Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chhoda and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. I really appreciate you. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. In this video, I'll give you the latest status of the stimulus negotiations, where the White House actually currently stands. This is actually fascinating. Also, the White House senior economic advisor Larry Kudlow did a detailed interview. I'll be dissecting that interview later on our channel. Let's jump right into the state of the economy. Remember, the Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. So let's just jump right in. On your screen, you'll see a tweet from Heather Long from the Washington Post. She is reiterating what I've mentioned before on my channel. Many top economists in the country are saying that the United States can and should spend money right now. I've done many videos on our channel where I've talked about the debt service being lower than the actual debt that we take on. There is a lot of concern about taking on more debt, specifically from Republican senators, specifically from the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. But we should be taking on more debt to help the economy now, specifically help those who need help the most. So Heather Long points out that number one, the economy needs stimulus. As you can see the tweet on your screen. Number two, it's very cheap to borrow right now because interest rates are low. Number three, the United States has always had the need, even before the Trump administration, has always had the need to invest more money in infrastructure, invest more money in education, improve our roads, improve our bridges, improve our education system, which, as you can see, is unfortunately broken right now. And guess who invests in the education system? The states. It is a state's responsibility to invest in the state education system. When you pay property taxes, when I pay property taxes, that money goes to the state, and the state uses a majority of that money to actually fund education for our children. So this is so important, and I can't emphasize this enough. Here's a tweet on your screen from Janelle Jones. Janelle is the managing director of policy and research at Groundwork Collaborative, and Janelle pointed out some horrible numbers from the Household Pulse survey, which is a recent survey that came out. 1/3 of adults are expected to lose income in the next 4 weeks because the important programs like the PUA program and the PEUC program are scheduled to expire. Think about that for a second. 1/3 of adults are expected to lose their income in the next 4 weeks. 1/3 of adults are having a challenging time, are having a difficult time to pay for usual household expenses. Again, let's see the tweet on your screen. 1/3 of adults are having a hard time paying for typical, for usual, for normal household expenses. The ability to put food on the table, the ability to pay rent, the ability to keep the lights on. It's astonishing that we are talking about this in the United States of America. 1/3 of adults are living in a household where eviction or foreclosure, if you're renting, you can't pay your rent, you might get evicted. Foreclosure, if you own a home and you're not able to make your mortgage payment, where eviction or foreclosure is very likely or somewhat likely in the next 2 months. I want you to think about this for a second. This shows you how dire the situation is. There are a lot of programs that are actually scheduled to expire at the end of the year. And again, 1/3 of adults are scheduled to lose income in the next 4 weeks. 1/3 are having a hard time paying for typical household expenses. And 1/3 of adults are living in a situation where eviction or foreclosure is very likely or somewhat likely in the next 2 months. Now, at this point, things get a little more interesting. We know where the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stands. He's pushing a bill that's right around $333 billion, a much smaller bill than the $908 billion bill that was proposed by the bipartisan group of influential senators that I covered yesterday. So the question now arises, where do the House Democrats stand? Well, we know where the House Democrats stand. They want a large stimulus. They want a $2 trillion stimulus. But things actually get even more interesting because right now, the Democrats have proposed a bill to the U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. The Senate bipartisan community has proposed a $908 billion bill, and the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has proposed a much smaller bill, right around $333 billion. I saw some numbers that suggested that it was closer to $500 billion, but regardless, it's the smallest bill. It's the leanest bill, if you will. Where does the president stand in all this? Well, you see this tweet on your screen from Jake Sherman over at Politico, and he reports the U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin said the president will sign the McConnell proposal that he put forward today. So what this means is the president of the United States wants the smaller, leaner bill Keep in mind, the President of the United States has in the past said that he wanted a bigger bill than the Democrats. He said that. He also said that he wanted to do a large bill, and more recently he said he wanted to do a big and focused bill. So the president has clearly voiced support for a bill that was in excess of $2 trillion, and now the president says he's going to support a bill that's right around $300-400 billion that was proposed by the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. So the question arises that $908 billion stimulus package that was proposed by the bipartisan group of senators. By the way, the Problem Solvers Caucus did have a role to play in this, although let's be clear, the more influential senators like Senator Mitt Romney, like Lisa Murkowski, like Susan Collins, like Joe Manchin, these are the more influential senators. Also Warner, the Democrat. So a lot of these influential senators are now involved, which does give it a little bit more weight. But today, the two co-chairs of the Problem Solvers Caucus, Josh Gottheimer and Tom Reed, were interviewed, and they said some rather interesting things. In fact, Gottheimer said this is a short-term emergency focus package to get us through the new year, and we can always do more later. He said something needs to be done now because we can't go on our Christmas break. In fact, Mark Warner, the Democrat, the Democrat senator, he said that it would be stupidity on steroids if Congress actually left for the Christmas break without passing additional stimulus. Let's take a look at some comments from Josh Gottheimer, the co-chair of the Problem Solvers Caucus, today about the need to do stimulus, and also, interestingly, that this $908 billion package is a short-term emergency. What does all of this mean? I'll give you the sort of the big picture towards the end of this video, but first let's roll the tape and see what Josh Gottheimer had to say.
Understanding is what's being put on the table. So that's inching closer to the $908 billion that we identified in a bipartisan, bicameral, meaning we stood with 9 senators yesterday that support this proposal that we put together. And remember, the Problem Solvers Caucus represents 50 members of Congress because we got our official endorsement to support this legislation. So we're getting closer, but to your point, Christmas is right around the corner. It's time to listen to the American people and deliver this Christmas need ASAP.
Congressman Gottheimer, I wonder, because Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker, and Chuck Schumer, of course, Senate Minority Leader, they're making their own offer, and they were reluctant to go below a $2 trillion figure before the election. Do they have buy-in to this bipartisan proposal?
What we've offered up is a very short-term emergency-focused package to get us through into the new year, into a new administration. Obviously, it's a down payment. We'll probably have to do more after the new year. But the bottom line is, and Tom is right here, both sides and leadership are going to offer their proposals. What we've put out there is something where we think they can land. It's a compromise position. It does all the things that are critically important, as you talked about earlier, besides helping students and with eviction issues, but also unemployment. It extends unemployment resources to families, which are so critical this time of year. PPP and other rounds of small business loans. A third of small businesses in New Jersey have gone out already. Our small businesses need help. This will give them extra help. It's for food and nutrition right now because so many people, 40%, are getting food support for the first time in their lives. So this around the holiday times with spiking happening around the country. You just talked about LA, but it's hundreds of thousands of new cases a day everywhere. We've actually got to give urgent relief now, and no more politics, no more.
And then the next segment, now this is where things get even more interesting. Remember that the president wanted to sign the McConnell bill? Guess what? Tom Reed now is telling us that the president is, I quote, interested in signing a deal before January 1st. Okay, so these are the words from Tom Reed, and I want you to hear this for yourself. Tom Reed was specifically asked if the president would be interested in signing the $908 billion bill. And Tom Reed, essentially, that this was my interpretation, implied that yes, the president is willing to sign it. So at the end of the day, what is the president backing? Is the president backing the $300 billion, $400 billion bill from Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell? Or is he backing the $900+ billion bill from the Senate bipartisan group? I guess we'll find out. But right now, the way things stand is that it's very clear. Tom Reed said the president is, I quote, interested in signing a deal before the 1st of January. Let's roll the tape and see what Tom Reed had to say.
I wonder, Congressman Reed, where the president is in these negotiations. He's tweeting a lot about election fraud. He's talking about vetoing the defense spending bill. Is he involved in these negotiations substantively?
So now, my understanding, we've always, in the Problem Solvers Caucus, have a rich legacy of always keeping our leadership, and as well as now the White House, during the prior conversations we've had on a COVID deal, keeping them informed. My understanding is we get a deal done before January 1st. The president is interested in signing that legislation because he recognizes that there's a need out there that needs to be addressed. Now, if we go past January 1st, then I think we're into the next administration, and that is going to be problematic. That means no relief till February, March, and that is why it's unacceptable for us to leave D.C. without getting something done before the holiday.
Congressman Gottheimer, do you agree? I mean, should lawmakers of both parties stay in Washington until they have a deal? Forget the holiday break.
Absolutely. I mean, the idea that we would go home without something is, to me, completely unconscionable. And frankly, too many people are hurting right now. We should not leave Washington unless we get something done, which is why what was proposed yesterday, which was bipartisan, as was said, 50 members of Congress, half Democrat, half Republican, 9 senators standing together. Clearly, there's an agreement to be had here that covers all the issues, that helps our state and local governments so we can make sure that our cops and our firefighters and our teachers stay employed, helps people with food, helps our small businesses. I mean, these are things families need right now, and we can't leave here unless we get that done. And members of Congress and the Senate are making that clear to leadership. You absolutely can't go home until we get this done.
That's it, everybody. Let me know what you think about these interesting comments from these individuals who play a role in the future of stimulus. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You'll also find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I really appreciate you watching. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. Get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000, and you'll get added to SMS alerts list. If you want, you can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and then you'll get added to our email list going forward. The Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. We cover topics that are important to your bottom line, that are again important to the country, important to the economy, and important to your money. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. Also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle, if you want to get breaking news and alerts from us, is also ignition_time. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. Now, sometimes YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. So all you have to do is simply bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. And then you'll have bookmarked our channel, and you can visit the home page of our channel and then essentially watch our videos at any point in time that you want. If you learn something new from this video, please consider sharing it with friends and family. You'll always find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. Please comment below, participate in our community. Our community is vibrant, it's growing, it's intelligent, it's bipartisan, it's respectful, and chances are you'll make some new friends in our community. Finally, if you learned something new from this video, please consider clicking the like button. Please gently ignite the subscribe button, ignite that notification button, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.